Good evening, good evening. Here comes everybody.
Hello, teacher.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Okay,
Let's
nice.
see. Let me see. I've got two people waiting here. Let's see. Admit all. Okay. We got Maria, we got Claudia, Edith. Who else is
Hello.
here? Rita's here coming up. How is everybody tonight?
Good.
Good,
you?
good, good. I'm okay. I had a very busy day, but
Yeah.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
Okay.
Got a bit of a headache. I think I'll maybe have a cerveza after this class. I think I need to relax.
Yeah.
You need to tequila.
Yeah, maybe open up that bottle of tequila. Yeah, I need some margarita mix.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
So I have some margaritas.
Yeah.
There we go. Everybody coming in here. Let's see.
Hello, teacher.
Hello, there's Armando and Leonarda. All right. Very, very good. Everybody here? Julio's here too. Okay. All right. Well, while we're waiting for everybody else to arrive, let's jump right in and do our verb practice for today. So let me share that with you and we'll jump right in here. Let me see here. Okay. Okay, where is it? Okay. All right, let's see here. Got to open it up. Review number. Okay. Can everybody see the verb review?
Yes.
Yep.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. All right. Very good. Very good. All right. Let me push a little button here. Let's see here. There's the button. Okay. So I can fill in the answers. There it is. Okay. Ready to go?
Yes, ready.
Okay. So this one says, the light off this morning. What can we say for that one?
Did
Did you turn? Right.
Do you turn off the light?
That's this morning was the past, right?
Yes.
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 Did you turn off the light this morning? Now the next one says Fred to his new CD for the past 2 hours. For 2 hours. So what can we?
Listening?
Frank is being listening.
Right, I agree. Has
been.
Listen.
has
We listen.
been listening. Has been listening. Excellent. Okay. Oh, here's Rosendo. Welcome. Okay. And what else do we have here? We have sometimes I to lock my car. Sometimes I what?
Present. Simple present.
Forget. Right. Sometimes I forget.
I forget.
Absolutely. Okay. The next one says not yet.
Hasn't drunk.
Haven't?
Hasn't, right.
Oh,
Hasn't drunk. Marcia hasn't drunk coffee yet today. Good. Okay. Now the next one says Tim, college next year.
Won't attend.
Will not.
Will not or won't, right? Either one is okay.
Won't.
Will
Yes.
not or won't attend. Oops. Or of course we could say
Not going.
isn't going to attend, right? Will not attend, won't attend, isn't going to attend, future continuous. All right. Number 6. Number 6 says right now.
What are Jim and Bob discussing
What
right now?
are Jim and Bob discussing? All right. The next one says not yet.
We haven't
Haven't. Good.
reading.
Haven't written. Excellent. Okay. There's Noel. Okay. Haven't written. Excellent. All right. Now the next one says, I to work tomorrow.
I will walk.
I'm going.
Will
I'm
walk
going.
Will
or
walk to work tomorrow.
I'm going to walk,
Will,
right? I will walk or I'm going to walk. All right. Now the next one. The next one says Frank, very many novels in his life.
Doesn't
Pardon?
read. Doesn't read.
Doesn't is possible, but what else could we also say? Doesn't read or
Haven't?
hasn't read. All right. The next one is about the Jackson family. What can we say about the Jackson family? What happened to the Jackson family? They sold their house last summer. Very good. The next one is about Sonia and Martine. What could we say there?
Will.
Is
Sonia
He's going.
going to
that?
dance or will dance?
Going
Will dance is fine or going to dance, right?
Right.
Now the next one says when he gets nervous. When he gets nervous.
I think Jim makes a lot of mistakes.
He makes a lot of mistakes when he gets nervous. Simple present. Now the next one. The next one is actually more for my level 5s and 6s. Level 4, we haven't talked about this very much. But level 5s and 6s, what do you see as the subject? The subject is carrots.
Won't be.
Won't be.
Will not.
Exactly. We're going to say won't be planted, right? The future passive. We'll talk more about passive a little later in the semester, but that's what we have here. Won't be planted. Won't be planted. Future passive. Future passive. All right. Number 14. The children in the next room while I was watching TV. We're sleeping. Very good. 2 actions at the same time, right? The children were sleeping in the next room while I was watching TV. Very good. Past continuous. Number 15. What school?
Are studying.
I agree, because it's right now.
What school?
Are studying.
Are studying.
It's going to be are because the subject is brothers, right? Brothers. All right. Now the next one.
Teacher, I have a question on number 13.
13, yes.
Yes. Can we say to carrots will not plant will not be?
Will not be planted?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's fine. No problem.
Okay.
Will not be or won't be. No problem.
Will not be. Okay.
Will not be
Thank
or
you.
won't be.
Okay. Thank you.
All right. The next one says for 30 minutes. For 30 minutes, what
The
can we say?
girls have been jumping.
Have been jumping. I agree.
Have
Have
been.
been jumping.
Have been jumping rope for 30 minutes. Have been jumping. Okay. Here we go. Okay. All right. The next one. Nancy, to Hawaii for the last vacation.
Went to Hawaii.
Yeah, nothing fancy there, right? Just simple past.
Went.
Went.
Nancy went.
W-E-N-T. Okay. Nancy went to Hawaii for her last vacation. Went. All right. Now the next one is
Did
Is.
Greg.
Greg help?
Is or did, right?
Did.
Greg help.
Greg. Help.
All right. Now number 19 says not yet.
The
Not yet.
students haven't reviewed.
Haven't reviewed.
Haven't
Haven't.
reviewed. Perfect.
Review.
The next one says next
William
month.
Will quit.
Will quit
Yeah, will
or
quit.
is going
Or is going to quit.
Will quit.
Will quit or is going to quit. Both are okay. Now the next one, 21, it says how the movie last night.
How
How did you like it?
How did you like it? How did you like?
How do you like?
All right. Last year, millions of people the Super Bowl game.
What?
What?
W-A-T-C-H-E-D.
Yeah.
All right. The next one. How often your parents and you are or do?
Do.
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 Often do your parents call you?
Do your parents call?
I cannot see the bird.
Do your parents call? Can you see now? All right. Let's see, Jose Garcia, come on in.
Are.
All right, now the next one says usually. Usually.
Simple present.
Simple present, so do, right.
Oh.
Mira, te voy a poner aquí también, este es el coronavirus, a ver quién entiende.
Do park.
Good evening. Do the students usually park their cars?
Do they usually park? And the next one, if the teacher,
Will.
remember if plus present.
Planes.
We'll talk about that a little bit more tonight, okay? Okay. All right, good. Now I'm gonna put everybody on mute here for a second. All right. All right. All right, students, hello. How are you? Everybody good? Good, good. Now, I want to ask a favor that will make the class go a lot easier for everybody. And that is, of course, I want you to participate. But if you're just listening, please mute your microphone, because if we have 17 students and 17 different houses with the TV on in one house and the kids playing in another house and the car driving by in another house, everybody goes crazy and we can't understand the lesson. So does everybody see where your mute button is? If you're on a computer, it's in the top corner, right? If you're on a phone, it's in the bottom corner, right? So everybody try to unmute your phone right now. Unmute your computer. Unmute. We're doing a little practice. Unmute yourself. push the unmute button. All right. There we go. Julio did it. All right. All right. Rosendo, I can hear you. All right.
Yes.
Yes, I'm
Unmute
here.
yourself. Okay. Claudia, unmute yourself. Push that
Yes.
unmute button. There you go. All right. Edith, you see the unmute button? Yes, push that button. Okay. Okay. So just do me a favor. If you have something to say or you have a question, of course, unmute yourself. But if you're just listening, there's no reason to have your microphone on, right? If you're just listening. So it'll be easier for everybody if we have quiet, especially if there's a TV in the background like I hear right
Yeah.
now, or
Sometimes I hear a lot of noise.
somebody's playing video games in the other room. It's hard for the lesson to go on with that kind of background noise. But of course, I want you to participate. So if you have something to say, turn on your microphone, ask your question, answer the question. And there'll be times like we do every night where we'll be in the little rooms and we can talk more easily to each other, right? But when we have 17 people together and we have 17 rooms all with noise, it makes it a little difficult for people to understand. Sounds good? No problem? Okay, all right.
Yes.
Very good, very good. So that way the class will go more smoothly for everybody. Okay, so last night, what did we talk about? We talked about the difference between simple past and past perfect, right? Remember, we were using past perfect to compare. For example, after I had read the book, I took it back to the library, right? Past perfect, simple past. Or by the time I got to the grocery store, they had run out of potatoes, right? By the time I got to the grocery store, they had run out of potatoes. Past perfect, simple past. So I want to do a little practice with that first, and then we're going to jump into our lesson tonight, which is using past perfect in a different way. But first, I want to try the lesson tonight using past perfect. So I'm going to open up another file here. All right. And let me see. I have to share the file. Let me do that right now real fast. Okay. I'm going to share this file. Okay, here we go. Okay, so let's do a little quick practice here with notice what it says here. It says complete the following using had, has, have, did, was, were, or nothing. So this is all going to be past, but if it's past perfect, we're going to use had. If it's present perfect, have and has. Simple past question, did. Past tense continuous, was and were. And when do we use nothing? When we have a past tense affirmative. Okay, so let's look at this together and see if we can figure it out. And then we'll jump into our lesson tonight. All right, we didn't get a chance to finish this last night. So notice what we have here. Tom and his wife already set the table when I got to their house. So should we say have or had?
Had.
Had.
H-A-D, right? This is what we were talking about last night. We want to say H-A-D. Oh, what's happening here? Type text here. Okay. H-A. My computer isn't working. Hold on. Let's try again. All right. I don't know why that was happening, but let's see what happens now. Okay, here we go. All right. I don't know what's happening. Hold on. I have to push a button here. All right. 1 second. Okay, let me push this button and we'll get going here. Sorry about this. There we go. H-A-D. Oops. So number one is had. Tom had already set the table by the time I got to their house. Now the next one says last week's test. Should we say didn't or hadn't?
I cannot see the sheet.
What? You can't see the sheet?
No, now I can.
Everybody can? Okay. All right, so this one's going to be didn't.
Didn't.
Right? Max didn't get a very good score.
Didn't.
All right. How about this one? I couldn't follow the lesson because I many classes earlier in the term. What do we think?
I
Have or had?
I had.
H-A-D or H-A-V-E?
H-A-D.
H-A-D.
Exactly. Past perfect. ¿Por qué? Because we have simple past over here. Remember, with past perfect, we always have two actions. All right. Now the next one. Should we say had or did for this one?
Did.
Did. Exactly. Because we only have one answer. One past tense action. All right. Number 5. For the last 6 months, should we say has or had?
Had.
Had.
H-A-D or H-A-S?
H-A-S.
H-A-D.
H-A-S, right. Because we're not comparing it to anything in the past. We're comparing it to the present. H-A-S. All right. Now the next one. When I called my parents last night, they having dinner.
They were.
Were having dinner, right? We need our past continuous there. Were. They were having dinner. Okay.
Where?
All right. Number 7. After work last night, I to music.
I have.
Had or nothing?
Nothing.
Nothing, right? We don't want anything there because that's just good old simple past, right? Remember, simple past affirmative, no auxiliary verb. So we're going to have just nothing there. After work last night, I listened to music. That's it. Okay. Now the next one says Jim, the dishes. So he's going to watch TV. Should we say has or had? H-A-S or H-A-D?
H-A-S.
H-A-D.
Well, is this present or past?
Has.
Past.
Maybe have.
It's past.
It's past.
Yes,
Past.
right?
Has
Well,
already.
Well, but look over here. He's going to watch TV.
Yes. It had.
So, present. Present perfect.
Yes.
We want present perfect
It's
there.
present perfect. Okay.
Okay, next one. Which car
Did.
did?
Did.
Exactly. Simple past question. No problem. Did. Okay. The next one. With her aunt for 3 months.
Has been.
Had been.
Has.
Has been.
H-A-S, right?
Has.
Has been staying.
Present perfect. All right. Now the next one says, and the next one already has the answer. Lately, our store has been selling summer clothes. All right, that was easy. That was easy. All right. How about the next one? The next one says, I was really disappointed in the concert.
I have.
I had, exactly. I had been expecting it to be good, but it wasn't. I had. Simple past. Very good. All right. Now the next one says, Fred, the news at 11 o'clock last night.
Has.
I have.
Well, hold on.
Nothing.
There we go. Nothing. Right?
Nothing.
Because we have one action in the past, right? I'm not comparing. I'm just saying what happened. I watched the news at 11. That's it. Nothing. All right. The next one, number 14. What? Frank. Did.
Did.
Again, simple past
Did.
question. Good. Did. What did Frank have for lunch yesterday? All right. The next one. By the time I got to the supermarket,
Have.
They had.
they had. That's exactly what we were talking about last night, right? Two past tense actions. Two past tense actions. One happened and the other one had already happened, right? I got to the supermarket, but I was too late. By the time I got there, they had already sold the turkeys. Okay? All right, the next one. Mr. Hendricks didn't take Spanish last year. ¿Por qué no?
He was studied.
He had.
He had studied.
Have
Otra vez
studied.
had. Past perfect again, right? Había estudiado, right? He had studied Spanish the year before. Okay. 17.
Has been.
The doctor, for the past several hours.
Been.
Has.
H-A-S or H-A-D?
H-A-S.
H-A-S, present perfect, right? Porque it's happening right now. It's happening right now. All right. How about number 18? The mechanic inspected the brakes yet.
Has.
Has, right? H-A-S.
It has. Because it's a
Okay. All right. Now the next one says, how long your sister married when her husband passed away? Now again, read carefully. It says when the husband passed away.
Had.
H-A-S or H-A-D?
H-A-D.
H-A-D, right? It says your sister is not married anymore. Right now she is a widow. But how long had she been married when her sister passed away? When her husband passed away? All right. The next one. Bob burned himself.
Well, he was cooked.
Well, he was, right? That's our continuous, right? Well, he was cooking.
Was cooking last night.
All right. 21. 3 students in the class yesterday.
Didn't.
Didn't.
Weren't. Exactly.
Yep.
Weren't. Because we don't have an action there, right? We don't have an action, so we're going to use were. All right. Now the next one says today.
Have you.
And how long?
Have.
H-A-D or H-A-V-E?
H-A-V-E.
H-A-V-E, present perfect. Right?
H-A-B.
All right. Now the next one, the dog, several holes in the yard yesterday.
Dog.
Our dog.
Were.
It happened yesterday,
Have.
right?
Have.
It's yesterday.
Did.
H-A-D.
Dog.
Nothing.
Nothing.
Right? Again, it's one action and it's affirmative. One action, affirmative, simple past. Right? Remember, we only use had when we compare. We're not comparing. We're just saying what happened yesterday. All right. 2 more and then we'll be done. Before I read that book, I...
Had.
H-A-V-E or H-A-D?
A-D.
H-A-D, exactly. I had not known. I had not known much about Russian history. I hadn't known.
I hadn't know, right?
Hadn't, right. Yeah.
Hadn't know.
Or yeah, we could put hadn't, yeah. I hadn't known very much about Russian history. All right. When I ordered at the coffee shop, I discovered, this is all past, right? Ordered, discovered, I ordered that they
Have.
H-A-V-E or H-A-D?
H-A-D.
H-A-D, exactly. H-A-D, past perfect. When I ordered at the coffee shop, I discovered that they had run out of blueberry pie. All right, everybody feeling good?
Yes.
Yes.
So far, not bad? Okay, good. All right, now, so that was the first use of past perfect. When we have 2 past tense actions and we want to compare. Now, Tonight, we're going to look at a second use for that past perfect. The second use of the past perfect. And this combines with what we were talking about last week. What were we talking about last week? Conditionals, right? So tonight, we're going to talk once more about conditionals, but this time, conditionals in the past, okay? So I'm gonna put everybody on mute again, and I'm gonna make a quick explanation of this, and then we're gonna practice, okay? So you're gonna go quiet for just a few minutes, but then when after I explain, we're gonna practice some more together, okay? All right.
Okay.
So we're going quiet for a second, and then I'll have you back in a minute, okay? So just watch and listen. Everybody can hear me fine? Yes? Okay. Oop. All right. Let me share my screen and then we'll begin here. Okay. All right. Okay, does everybody see the screen? Past conditionals and wishes? No problem. Good. All right. And notice what the subtitle is. Talking about things that never happened. That's unusual. How can you talk about something that never happened? Well, that's why we use these past tense wishes and past tense conditions. So let's talk about it a little bit. Past conditional form. Let's have a look. We use past conditionals to imagine a different scenario from what actually happened. So something happened and we say, oh, I don't like that. And you imagine something different. We do it all the time in our life, right? We say, oh, if I had just done that one thing, I wouldn't have had these problems, right? So by definition, they are not true. Let me give you some examples and you'll see what I mean. If we had landed on time, we would have made our connecting flight. So what really happened? What really happened was the plane was late, so we missed the connection, right? Maybe I was going to fly to Chicago and then fly to New York City, but my plane to Chicago came too late, so I missed my plane to New York City, right? But in my mind, I say, if we had landed on time, we would have made the connection. All right, let's look at another one. If you had read the memo, you would have known about the meeting. So the boss is a little bit upset. You say to the worker, you say, hey, we had a meeting yesterday. This happens to me all the time. My principal is always angry at me. I say, hey, Webb, we had a meeting yesterday and you were not there. Oh, I didn't know about it. It was in the memo. Oh, I didn't read the memo. Sorry. If you had read the memo, you would have known about the meeting. But I didn't read it, so I didn't know about the meeting and I missed it, right? The opposite is what happened. I didn't read the memo and I didn't know about the meeting. I wouldn't have eaten so much if I had known we had pie for dessert. I wouldn't have eaten so much if I had known we had pie for dessert. So nobody told me we had pie. So I ate and ate and ate and ate, and now, oh, no mas. I'm full. No more, please stop. And then they say, well, we have a nice blueberry pie. But I'm not hungry anymore. If I had known we had pie for dessert, I wouldn't have eaten so much. I made a mistake. We could have helped you if you had told us about the problem. We could have helped you, right? But we had no opportunity to help because we didn't know you were having a problem. We had no opportunity to help you. We could have helped you, but we had no chance. We had no opportunity. if Martine hadn't been there, we couldn't have moved the piano, right? Martine is a very strong guy. We only had me and one lady. The piano was very heavy. If Martine had not been there, we couldn't have moved the piano. His help was necessary. Now, notice all of our if statements. What do we have? If had landed. If had read. If had known. If you had told us. If Martine hadn't been here. That's our old friend past perfect, right? That's past perfect. So the if part of the conditional is past perfect. Let me show you. Let's look more closely. Here we go. Basic form. This is sometimes called the third conditional. I like to call it the past conditional because it's always about the past. What are we going to use? If past perfect, remember past perfect from last night, then would have past participle. Remember would from last week. We talked about would from last week, right? But now instead of saying would go, we're going to say would have gone. Instead of would go, that's what we talked about last week. For example, if I had a day off, I would go to the beach, right? That's imaginary conditional. But now look at what we have. Look at our examples. We were late for a movie, so we didn't get a ticket, right? That's what really happened. That's what really happened. This is what actually happened. We missed the movie. However, later that night, we could be talking to our friends and imagine, this is all imagination. We imagine how it might have been different. We imagine how it might have been different. For example, if we had been at the theater earlier, ¿qué pasó? We would have gotten the ticket. Did that happen? No, it didn't happen. But after the fact, we say, if we had been there earlier, we would have gotten the ticket. If only we had been there earlier. Okay, so what do we have? Past perfect, would have. Past perfect, would have. Past perfect, would have. If past perfect, result, would have. Let's look at some more examples. Variation. Remember, with all conditionals, we can put if in the first position or in the second position. If we have if in the first position, what do we need? Comma. If we have if in the middle of the sentence, no comma necessary. Example, if I had been more careful, I wouldn't have had an accident. Or, I wouldn't have had the accident if I had been more careful. David would have won the game if he had made the shot. No comma. If David had made the shot, comma, he would have won the game. But what really happened? He missed the shot and he lost. He missed the shot and he lost. But later he says in his mind, if I had made that shot, we would have won the championship. That one shot was the difference. If I had made that shot, we would have won the game. All right, good. So again, if can be in the first position or the second position. All right, now, sometimes we use could instead of would. When do we use that? We can replace would with could in the result if the outcome is less certain. If you're not so sure what would happen, if you're not so sure. For example, if I had known about the game, I would have gone. 100%. I wanted to go, but I didn't know about it. But if I had known, definitely 100%, I would have gone. Now, on the other hand, if I had known about the game, I could have gone. I don't know if I would have gone or not. Maybe, maybe not. Depends on my mood. But I could have gone. As it was, I didn't know about it, so it was impossible to go. But I could have gone if I had known. We would have gone to the beach if it had been sunny, for sure. We wanted to go to the beach, but we weren't able to. Why not? Because it was cloudy. On the other hand, we could have gone to the beach if it had been sunny. Meaning, maybe we would go to the beach. I don't know. Maybe. But definitely we didn't go because it was cloudy. So when you use could, it means I'm not so sure about the outcome. I'm not so sure about the result. The result is maybe 50-50, right? Maybe 50-50. So if you're sure, you say would have. If you're not so sure, if it's 50-50, you say could have. Past wishes, same story. Remember, in past, we use wish in past before, right? For example, I wish I had $1 million. You remember that from last week. Or I wish I were a champion wrestler or whatever. What are we going to use this time? We're going to use, instead of past, we're going to use past perfect. So a wish about right now, we use past. I wish I knew more Spanish. A wish about the past, we're going to use past perfect. For example, this car is a piece of junk. I wish I hadn't bought it. I wish I hadn't bought it. It's no good. This car is no good. I wish I hadn't bought it. I wish someone had told me that I had ketchup on my face. I wish someone had told me. But actually, nobody told me. That makes me sad. I walked around all day with ketchup on my face. Right? I wish somebody had told me. Greg made a big mistake. I wish he had listened to my advice. Past perfect, right? Past perfect. This test is really difficult. I wish I had studied harder last night. What's another possibility for wish? First possibility, most popular, past perfect. I wish I had done that. But we can also use could have when meaning something was impossible at the time. For example, I wish I could have gone to the concert last night, but I had to work. It was impossible to go. I wish I could have gone, right? If you say, I wish I had gone, it means I had the opportunity, but I didn't do it. If you say, I wish I could have gone, it means I didn't have an opportunity. I didn't have an opportunity. All right, let's look at another one. JC wishes that she could have studied French in high school, but her school didn't have a French class. So it was impossible. She wanted to, but it was impossible. My grandmother didn't have many opportunities when she was young. She wishes that she could have been a doctor, but she never had the chance. She wanted to be a doctor, but she never had the opportunity. When you don't have an opportunity, you say, I wish I could have done that. I wish I could have been there. I wish I could have helped you, but I didn't have the chance. I didn't have the chance. I wish I could have. Okay, so now let's look at all of our conditionals together. We talked about a few last week and now this week. So let's look at them all together. We have 4 possibilities when we use the word if. Number 1, we don't talk about very much because it makes sense. It's what we call the habitual. Sometimes they call it the 0 conditional. That's when we use just simple present for habits. For example, if it rains, I usually leave early to get to work on time. Present, present. Nothing fancy there. Now, last week, what did we talk about? We talked about this one, the possible conditional, what we call the first conditional. If it rains tomorrow, I will bring my umbrella with me, right? Possibility, a possibility in the future. And then we also talked about last week, if it rained a lot in Los Angeles, I would move to another city. Imagination, right? It's not true. In fact, it doesn't rain very much in Los Angeles. But if it rained a lot in this city, I would probably move, right? In my imagination, I think that. If it had rained yesterday, we would have canceled the picnic. That's the one we're talking about tonight. If it had rained, past perfect, we would have canceled. Right? No problem? The end. If you hadn't come to class today, you wouldn't have learned the past conditional. That's for sure. All right. Good. Okay, so I'm going to stop my share. And I'm going to put everybody's microphone back on. What's the chat? Hello, everybody. Okay. All right. And I'm going to put everybody's microphone back on. Let's see. Unmute everybody.
Yeah.
Hello, everybody still here?
Yes, teacher.
Yes, okay. All right. You had peace and quiet there while you were listening to me, I hope. Now, were there any questions about what I said? Any confusion or questions? And again, when I'm giving the presentation, if you have a question, please interrupt me because I'm happy to take questions during the presentation. So what do we have? This is a conditional in the past. If past perfect, then would have. If past perfect, then would have.
Would have.
Okay, so I'm gonna share the board here, and I'm gonna put everything up on the board so we have it in one place. Okay, I'm gonna put my board up. I'm gonna leave the microphones on so we can talk, but I'm gonna put the board up for a second. Here's our blackboard. All right. So what do we have? We have 4 conditionals, right? Let's try a different color. Let's try. All right, 4 conditionals. All right, number 1 is what we call the 0 conditional for regular events. Right? For example, if simple present, comma, then simple present. Okay? Oops, if I can spell present right. Present. Okay? So for example, if I have extra money, I usually donate it to the church. Right? Present and present. Right? This one is present and this one is present for regular activities. Okay? Then last week we learned the first conditional. The first conditional is for
Possibilities.
possibilities, right? Things that might happen. And what are we going to use? If, simple present, then will plus base verb. So, for example, if I pass the test, I will be very happy. Possibility, right? Maybe it will happen, maybe not. That's the one we learned in level 3, the possible. Then last week, we learned this one, what we call the second conditional. The second conditional is for what? For imaginary situations, just your imagination. So what do we say? If simple past, comma, then would plus base verb. So if I spoke better English, I would get a better job. Okay.
If I spoke better English, I will get a better job.
I could get
All right.
a better job.
And then tonight we learn what we call the third conditional,
Sure.
which I prefer to call the past conditional, about things that never happened. But in my imagination, I think, oh, that's interesting. I wonder what would happen. So if past perfect, comma, then would plus have plus past participle. So what can we say? For example, if I had known about the party, I would have attended. If I had known about the party, I would have attended. Oh, I should make sure the party was last night. Okay? So those are our conditionals in English. It's a little tricky because it all depends on what the situation is. So you cannot say, teacher, is this right or is this wrong? I don't know. What's the situation? Is it something that's a regular situation? Then we have to use the 0. If it's something that's a possibility in the future, then we use the first conditional. Is it something that really isn't going to happen? It's just my daydream, just my imagination. Then we use the second. And if it's something that happened in the past, then we use the third conditional, the past perfect. So each one of those is important to know. Now, if you are a level 4 student, you need to know these first 2. If you are a level 5 student, you need to know these 3. And if you are a level 6 student, you need to know all of them. Okay? So it depends on your level. Level 4, these 2. Level 5, this one. And level 6, todos.
I don't remember what level I are.
What's that? You don't remember your level, huh? Well, we're just doing our best right now. We're just doing our best.
I think we are the third level.
Yeah, back to level 2. You want to go back to level 2? We fix that. Okay. Does everybody have all this copied down in their notes?
Yes.
Okay. Good. And And I'm going to start from now on. You know those little presentations I'm giving? I'm going to put them in the Schoology page in a little folder so you can look at them anytime. So you'll be able to look at them anytime. All right, good. So let's do some practice here. I'm going to make a statement in past about what happened, and I want you to make a conditional in past about what could have happened. So for example, if I say, I got into an accident because I didn't pay attention. I got into an accident because I didn't pay attention. But in my imagination, what do I say? If I had paid attention, I wouldn't have gotten the accident. I wouldn't have gotten into the accident. If I had paid attention, I wouldn't have gotten into the accident. Okay, everybody get the idea?
Yes.
Kind of, sort of, a little bit.
Más o menos.
Okay.
Más o menos.
We're gonna do. Let's do it a little bit together, and then I'm gonna ask you one by one. Okay. All right. So I'm gonna share something here with you. Let's see here. Let me do a quick share of my screen again. And let's see. Here we go. Okay. Can everybody see the sentences?
Yes, teacher.
So this is what happened. We use simple past to show what happened. Okay, but now in our imagination, we're going to make a second sentence. For example, I didn't feel well, so I didn't go to work. But in my imagination, what do I say? I say, if I had felt better, I would have gone to work. Right? Everybody see what I did? Everybody see what I did?
Yep.
Right? The truth is I was sick, so I stayed home. But if I wanted to go to work, but I didn't go because I was sick. If I had felt better, of course, I would have gone to work. Okay? Let's try another one together. Michael didn't read the directions, so made a mistake on the test. Okay. So what can we say about Michael?
If Michael
If he
had
read the directions,
what would have happened?
he
wouldn't have, exactly. He
wouldn't
have made a mistake. Right? So again, let's look what we did. If he had read the directions, but in fact he didn't. But if he had read the directions, he wouldn't have made a mistake. If he had read the directions, he wouldn't have made a mistake. But in fact, he didn't read the directions. Remember, whenever we use this form, it's what should have happened, but it didn't. All right. David was late, so the boss got angry. Oh my goodness. All right. So David says, oh no. Now he's thinking about it, and he says, if David hadn't been late, what would have happened?
the boss couldn't have gotten angry.
If David hadn't been late, again, there's our past perfect. Past perfect. If David hadn't been late, what would the boss have reacted? Well, he certainly wouldn't have gotten angry.
The boss couldn't have gotten angry.
Couldn't have gotten angry.
All right. Number 4. Brenda burned her hand, so she had to go to the emergency room. All right. So what do we have here? Burned, right?
Burn.
So that's what happened. She burned her hand. But what can we say? If
Brenda
Brenda
Hadn't
hadn't
burned
hadn't
her
burned
hand,
her hand,
She
she
would not
couldn't
not
to go.
go to the
have
emergency
gone
room.
to the emergency room.
Have
What?
go to the emergency room.
that
Teacher is correct. Have had.
wouldn't have had to go. Or you could say, you could also say wouldn't have gone. That would be okay too.
Couldn't have gone.
Wouldn't have gone or wouldn't have had to go. Okay, let's do one more together. I'm going to have you do a few by yourself. So what's our if? Our if is always what? Past perfect, but the opposite, right? Past perfect, but the opposite. So affirmative, negative, negative, affirmative. All right. All right. Somebody's selling ice cream. I'm getting hungry. Getting hungry for some ice cream here. All right. Felix took the freeway, so he got stuck in a traffic jam. All right.
Felix.
If Felix hadn't
Wouldn't take the freeway.
taken
the
the freeway,
he
so he
Not
wouldn't have
That's it.
gotten stuck in traffic jam. Traffic.
if he hadn't taken the freeway, he wouldn't have gotten stuck in traffic. All right. Next one. Let's do one more together and I'll have you do the last 4 by yourself. It says, Alejandra didn't do her homework, so she didn't understand the lesson.
If Alejandra
Alejandra had done her homework,
Had done her homework.
Homework.
he would have understood.
Understand.
What's the past participle?
Understood.
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 If she had done her homework, she would have understood the lesson. If she had done, she would have understood. If she had done, she would have understood. All right, so far so good? All right, everybody can see the last 4?
Yes.
Yes, okay.
Yes, teacher.
So your job,
Yes.
let me make it a little bigger so everybody can see it. Okay, here's the last 4, 7, 8, 9, and 10. All right, your job is to write those 4 on your own, okay?
Okay.
Remember, you're gonna use what? If, past perfect, then would have or wouldn't have. If past perfect, then would have or wouldn't have. All right, so I'm gonna turn off everybody's microphone for about 5 minutes and let you work and think on your own. And then we'll see how things go after that. So I'll give you until 8:12. And 8, I'll give you 5 minutes to answer these. And I'll have a little quiet while you're working, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Okie dokie. How we doing? We done or we need more time?
No, I'm
more
ready.
time.
More time?
I'm ready.
Yes.
2 more minutes?
I'm
Or
finished.
2
Yes,
more
please.
Yeah,
minutes.
2
more
more.
minutes? Okay.
Yes.
All right.
I'm ready.
All right. If you're already ready, that's fantastic. But we'll give 2 more minutes to everybody.
Yeah, 2 more.
Okay.
Thank you. Okay, I don't know.
There we go. Hi, everybody.
I don't.
Hi, teacher.
Hi, teacher.
All right. Are we ready?
Yes.
Let's give it a try. So number 7 says, I didn't write down your number, so I forgot. So what can we say here? If I
If I had written,
Written
Down your
down.
name.
if I
down
had
your
written down your number,
Written down your
I wouldn't forget.
number.
I
I
will.
I couldn't have forgotten.
wouldn't have
I couldn't have
forgotten it.
forgotten.
Forgotten.
So far, so good?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. Now the next one, you see, has couldn't here. So it's possible we could use could or would. Either one is okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So if you wrote could, no problem. If you wrote would, no problem. All right. So what can we say? I broke my leg, so I broke my leg, so I couldn't go camping with my friends. But in my imagination, what do I think?
If I hadn't
Broken my leg.
Hadn't
I will have gone camping.
leg,
I
with my
could
friends.
have gone.
I would
Or couldn't.
or I
I
could
will
have
have
gone,
Or
I
couldn't
could
would
have
have or could
Could
have
have
gone
gone camping
I
with my
will.
friend.
camping
with my friend.
with my
Yeah.
friends. Right? Would have or could have. Let me write that. Both are okay in this case. I would have gone or I could have gone. Right?
Okay.
If I hadn't broken my leg, I would have gone camping or I could have gone camping.
I would have.
All right. My parents didn't have time, so they didn't visit their friends. Okay. So what can we do with this one?
If my parents
parents
had time.
Have time.
Now this one's a little funny because
Yeah.
we have to use had 2 times, right?
Yes.
So if my parents had
time,
Have time.
they would have
They
visited
will have
would
visit their
have
friend.
They had
friends.
visited their friends.
It looks funny, but it's correct.
They
Had.
will
If they had had time, they would have visited their friends. If they had had time, they would have visited their friends. All right, and number 10, last one. I ate too much candy, so I got sick. I ate too much candy,
I hadn't
so I got
I
sick.
hadn't
Too much candy. I would
too much
have
candy.
if I hadn't
I will not have gotten sick.
Teacher, I wrote I hadn't eaten.
Yes,
Oh,
that's negative.
Oh, hadn't. Sorry, you're right. My mistake.
Okay.
Teacher getting sloppy.
Thank you.
It's getting late.
Oh,
It's getting late. I need my cerveza. Don't tell the principal. Don't tell the principal.
I wouldn't
All right. If I hadn't eaten too much candy, I wouldn't have gotten sick.
I couldn't.
Well, couldn't. I wouldn't say couldn't. I would say wouldn't in this case. If I hadn't eaten too much candy, I wouldn't have gotten sick. In fact, I got sick.
So, teacher,
Yes.
I have a question. So,
Please.
in this sentence, we are using the third conditional.
This is called third conditional. Yes.
Third conditional.
This is called
Okay.
third conditional
Third
because
conditional.
we're imagining something that didn't happen.
Okay. Okay.
Now,
So,
we always do this kind of thing, right? We imagine something that didn't happen. So you say, oh, if I had only applied for that job, I would have gotten it, but I didn't apply. Right? You're imagining something that never happened. That's what it is. It's a third conditional. It's untrue. It's unreal. Okay?
Unreal.
Okay.
Okay,
So
teacher.
okay. So I'm going to stop this share for a second, and I'm gonna go back to my board, and I'm gonna write a question. We're gonna go into some small groups. Can I erase all this?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, no problem.
Yes,
Everybody
you
got it written
can.
down? Okay. All right. So we're gonna go into small groups, and I'm gonna give you a discussion question. What? Okay. Somebody's just coming in. Who is that? Acer. Whoever Acer is. Okay. Discussion questions. Or a question, actually. One.
How you like then different if you have
So here's our discussion question. Take a second to write it down. How would your life have been different if you hadn't come to Los Angeles? How would your life have been different if you hadn't come to Los Angeles?
How could you have been different?
I'm going to give you some examples in a second. Give you a chance to write all this down. How would your life have been different if you hadn't come to Los Angeles? All right. So start thinking about it, and I'm going to give you some examples. Does everybody have it written down?
Yes, teacher.
Yes? Okay.
I'm finished.
All right. All right. Let's go back to see everybody again. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Hi, teacher.
Hello.
All right. Nice to see you. Nice to see you.
To see you too.
So for example, let me give you some examples. I came to Los Angeles 1987. I came from a very small town in South Dakota, right? So my life became very different when I came to Los Angeles. So for example, if I hadn't come to Los Angeles, I wouldn't have become a teacher. I don't think so. If I hadn't come to Los Angeles, I wouldn't have met many of my friends. If I hadn't come to Los Angeles, I wouldn't have met my wife. So there are many things that were different because I came to Los Angeles, right? My life would have been very different if I had stayed in the Midwest. I probably would have gotten a job at some company. I probably would have married a girl from my hometown. I probably would have had a comfortable life, but I probably would have seen my family more often because I live far from my family now. So you see, my life would have been very different if I had stayed back in my hometown. It changed a lot because I came to Los Angeles. Okay, everybody got the idea? And
Yes.
notice what am I saying? I'm saying this would have happened and this wouldn't have happened. So for example, I probably would have gotten a job in my hometown. I probably wouldn't have become a teacher, right? That's my idea about what would have happened if I hadn't come to Los Angeles. Okay? So I'm going to put you into a small group, and that's going to be your discussion question. How do you think your life would be now if you hadn't come here? What would your life be like? What would it be like if you hadn't come to Los Angeles? What do you think? Just you, and of course, it's not real, right? It's just imagination, okay? So I'm going to put you into some small groups, and I want you to talk in a small group for about 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and share some of our ideas, okay? So I'm going to put you in a small group. Let's see, how about 1, 2, 3, 4 groups. All right, so I'm going to send you off to your rooms and have a discussion with, oh, it's Jing. Hi, Jing. Nice to see you.
There's some problem.
Okay.
I overtime. Sorry.
Okay. Well, welcome. All right. So go to your rooms and have a little discussion.
What happened?
English only. Remember, as long as you're speaking English, I'm happy. Okay. So see you later. Go to your discussion room, and I'll see you in about 5 minutes back here. Okay. So push the join button. Push the join button to go to your room. All right. Here comes. There you go. See you later. See you later. Go to your room. There we go. Push that button that says join. Join. All right. You see it, Edna? Join. Or Edith, you see it? Join. Are you frozen? There you go.